Just have your feet flat on the floor about a hip's width apart if you are sitting that way. So for everybody else, if you've got your legs under you, and Lou looks like you're sort of partially lying down. So you might feel, just the weight of the backs of your legs on the surface that you're lying on. For those of you sitting cross-legged, you'll feel the weight of your legs on your feet. So just bring your attention to, the foot, the feet. And then you'll notice your hands in your lap. Right hand nestled in the left with the thumbs touching, and then we'll just feel the weight of your pelvis, your sits bones in the chair. So just release your weight into the chair. And align your shoulders with your hips and your ears with your shoulders. And imagine your spine is a beautiful string of pearls of light, stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. Just imagine you're lengthening your spine. And then go to the crown of the head and just release any tension there. Relax the scalp, the forehead. Just go down all the different parts, your eyebrows. And don't just run past them as I speak them. Just really imagine you're releasing the tension in that area, the eyelids, the back of the eye, the nose, the cheeks, the mouth, and the back of the tongue, the jaw, the back of the head, and a little bit of length in your neck, and allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down, and relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. And be aware of the sensations of the breath as you inhale and exhale. The nostrils, the chest cavity, the belly. And then, you may have distractions during this meditation. I know Shayla is not zooming out of anywhere very quiet, just a child and a dog, and maybe the child's friends, source's friends at times. So just be aware, you may have people in your home, pets in your home, and maybe someone's cooking something. Maybe there's activity and you're sitting here trying to do practice. So just allow it all to be there, trying not to follow with the mind. And then, just have some awareness, maybe, or just tune in to what's going on for you this evening and today, for those of you. I don't know if there's any Aussies here today. Just allow the thoughts to kind of arise, just bubble up and abide. Try not to, follow any stories that might be arising. Just allow the thoughts to be there. Maybe take a step back and try and be objective about what's going on in the mind. Try to step away from the emotion. Particularly the emotions around a story, because it's not even maybe true. And then we're getting all up, all emotional about something that may or may not happen. And when I'm saying these words and I'm hearing myself, It does sound like something a crazy person might do, but we do this all the time. And sometimes I think if you were to write those thoughts down on a piece of paper and read them back to yourself the next day when you were feeling a little calmer, you'd wonder about what's going on in your mind. So they bring to mind all the people of your life, your loved ones, your strangers, the ones you don't like particularly. And recognize that, that as we do this thing every night, this equanimity meditation, maybe there's a different person popping up in those categories. So recognize that. And what's that? That's called impermanence. And then just imagine, all these people are equal. They're just the same as you and me, and they want to be happy, and they don't want to suffer, and they all have this extraordinary capacity for a Buddha mind. So we think we'll do this practice this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all the sentient beings. So we think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. We create negativity with the mind, so equally we can change it by creating positivity instead. And we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, then in general regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot, bear the thought of any more suffering than we're already having. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as suffering for us. So we think, I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret the anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, well, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to this power of reliance. So we start with refuge and we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor who has these methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we're needing Buddha to forgive us necessarily. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this brilliant, radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And he has a beautiful, radiant face, and his eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth, and his hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell. This represents wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, and this represents the indestructibility of compassion, and their being crossed represents the union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. And so in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we've harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then think about people that have harmed you, and maybe particularly have compassion for these people, because the harm they've caused you is going to result in suffering for them sometime in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to the power of remedy. And this is the actual medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it pours into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and it disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Petita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Petita Jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kamasita me, sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina petita, jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina petita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Petita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Petita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Petita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything other than benefit others now with your body. And next our speech, and imagine Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra. This arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about people behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you, all our inappropriate speech and our lack of wisdom. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Petita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Petita Jida meboa, Situkaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa, Sawazidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida meboa Situkaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida meboa Situkaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida meboa Situkaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida meboa Situkaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech, and including yourself. And also think about carefully about what you're putting up on social media as well. The next is the purification of our mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it happens as instantaneously as the light coming. It's like just like when you flick on a switch in a dark room. So imagine the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, and then instantaneously the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all our attachment and judgments and neediness and bitterness and grudges and negative opinions and all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida meboa Situkaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida meboa Situkaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida meboa Situkaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida meboa Situkaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasafa Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dida Mebowal Sitokaya Mebowal Sipokaya Mebowal Anurakta Mebowa Sabosidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasafa Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dida Mebowal Sitokaya Mebowal Sipokaya Mebowa Anurakta Mebowa Sabosidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. So you imagine that all the delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And then think there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness. So you imagine the nectar flows down, pushing out all the negativity of the body. Then the nectar flows up, pushing out all the negativity of the speech. And then the light comes and just blasts all of the delusions. And at the same, and it's happening all at the same time. And then also at the same time, you're reciting the mantra. So it's quite busy, but this way it eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Mebowal Sitokaya Mebowal Sipokaya Mebowal Anurakta Mebowal Sabasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Mebowal, Sitokaya Mebowal, Sipokaya Mebowal, Anurakta Mebowal, Sabosidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sitame, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe, Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Jida Mebowal, Sitokaya Mebowal, Sipokaya Mebowal, Anurakta Mebowa Sabosidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Mebowa Sitokaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anurakta Mebowa Sabosidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowal Sitokaya Mebowal Sipokaya Mebowa Anurakta Mebowa Sabosidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Mebowal Sitokaya Mebowal Sipokaya Mebowa Anurakta Mebowa Sabosidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Mebowal Sitokaya Mebowal Sipokaya Mebowa Anurakta Mebowa Sabosidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. So now feel you are completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve. And this is the fourth and the final step in the purification process. And it's a really crucial one. And this is this determination to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. So first of all, we just make a decision that this is what we want to do. You just decide. You decide you're going to go somewhere for a holiday, and then you decide that you're going to book it. But you're not going on that holiday unless you actually make a decision to book a ticket. Or you make plans. Someone to cover you at your job, or this kind of thing. So it's not until your plans get concrete then something actually is going to happen. So it's a kind of a similar thing here too. You have to make a plan, decide. And then you might want to think about some details like, okay, I'll choose something to work on between now and tomorrow. And I might just work on it for like 5 minutes at 10 o'clock in the morning. Does this make it really, really simple? Just a little meditation. And then Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. And next, Rinpoche would recommend to meditate on emptiness. So in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So let's do our chanting the names of Manjushri now. Uprooting all becoming with 12 links, endowed with purity in all 12 forms, his form the way of fourfold noble truth, with realization of the eightfold knowledge, with meaning of the truths in 12-fold form, aware of suchness in its 16 forms, with true awakening in 20 forms, awakened fully, knowing all supreme, dispatching countless sets of some 10 million, embodiments of emanating Buddhas, the final realization of all moments, who knows each moment's object for all minds. Well, let's just have a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live very long, and maybe the swift return of our precious Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and then all of your own individual teachers to live long. All right, you people, lots of love. Good night. I will see you tomorrow morning, some of you. All right, thank you so much. Thank you for hosting again, Shayla. All right, bye. Bye-bye.